welcome to another episode of the Panda Podcast. My name is Panda. Today I'm joined by Jerry. How you going?
Not bad.
Not bad?
Backseat driver today.
Backseat driver today?
Yeah.
You filled in for someone because the other guys couldn't make it today.
Yeah.
And special guest today, Mr. Philsterrik. You can find him on youtube.com/Philsterrik. How you doing, Mr. Phil?
I'm pretty good. I'm nice to be here today. It's for my first ever podcast, which I've never ever done before.
Well, this is the first time for everyone. Guys, there was one topic I want to talk about today. It was dropped, I think it was last night or the day before. Pokemon Go. Pokemon Go. You guys all see the trailer?
Yep, also in the trailer.
It's a crazy looking trailer.
Looking forward to it.
Yep.
It's going to be, obviously the trailer's like super overhyped, but I'm going to play the shit out of that anyway.
Yep. Pretty interesting. Not too sure how it's gonna really go when it comes out, but I'm anticipating some pretty good shit.
Are you?
Yeah.
I don't know, it feels like it's pretty much the DS game but on your phone. But it also feels like, remember that April Fool's thing that came out last
Yeah,
year?
that was. Yeah.
Did any of you guys actually get the reward?
No.
The business cards?
No.
So apparently what happened was you did the online game and you had to add them on Twitter and just say you wanted the reward and they'll send it to you.
Oh, so you didn't actually have to catch...
No, you had to catch everything,
Oh, okay.
but there was one thing because they didn't make it public, so a lot of people didn't know, and nobody got the business cards.
Did you get the business card?
No, I didn't get it. It's pretty sad. Should have gotten them though.
Oh, it was like...
Spent all this time.
It was like literally the business card from Google saying you are a Pokemon master.
And you work at Google.
Really?
Biggest self-promotion ever.
Oh man! So where do you work? I work at Google. What do you? I'm the Pokemon master.
You know, there was something else quite related to Pokemon Go,
Yeah.
which I reckon would be pretty interesting to bring up. There was this game produced by, Google originally.
The
And they
Ingress.
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 Yeah.
So, from what I can see from the trailer, it'll be very similar to Ingress.
The company's working with.
Oh, really?
They're both,
Yeah.
Okay, I did not know that.
It's the company. So the game's called Ingress, but the company's called
Nightac.
Nightac.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they separated from Google after the Alphabet
Yeah.
transition, and then they're working with Pokemon Company to make the game.
There's a couple of concerns, though, just
Really?
like from a fan base, I reckon.
Did you play Ingress?
Yes, I'm a heavy player in Ingress.
Okay.
So I play every day. It's like, 10 gigs of data down every month.
Oh crap!
Shelling out all the money on mobile data.
Oh.
But so one of the main issues with Ingress was because you have two factions.
Yep.
You kind of don't want the players to meet in the physical world.
You don't.
Yeah, and you'll get punch-ons. No,
Oh.
you're not allowed to, but it does say in the game instructions like be friendly with your community. But if you do get a bit drunk on the game, you can get quite violent. I've seen, I think there was one case or something. I'm not sure. Check that out. But what Ingress needed was to have players on the same location, so we're seeing like 5 meters radius to basically capture a point. But in this case, if we translate it to Pokemon, it'll be to catch a certain Pokemon.
Or
I'm
battle
assuming-
someone.
Yes, that's what I'm assuming. So, meeting people wouldn't be too big of an issue in this case because you want to see them, you want to battle them.
Yeah.
It'll be more interesting that way. But the only issue is if you have a big ass event like in the trailer where Mewtwo came out.
Yeah.
You're gonna
That's gonna get really dangerous
That's
real
dangerous
quickly.
as-
It's like, what did they call it? Not mosh pitting. You know how when suddenly you get a crowd out of one random place.
Yep.
Yeah. So you're gonna get injuries and everything. So if it's not organized correctly, it might be a big issue.
You gotta get like the cops involved and like authorities. It's gonna be really, really
Well,
tough.
could you imagine okay, let's take the Times Square scenario that was in the trailer. So you gotta ask all the guys that go around you. So what are you guys here for? I'm here to catch Mewtwo. I'm here to catch Mewtwo.
It's like, who is this Mewtwo character you're talking about? I'll be like, are you on drugs, man? Or something like that. I don't know.
What would be really good I think a lot of people are working on it, is a VR version of the game.
Yes.
A lot of people are working on a VR version.
So there's one version running on the newest Unity engine.
Yeah.
Haven't been published, but there's videos of it on YouTube. Looks mad.
Is this the one with
Charmander.
Oh, the
Yes,
Charmander
mostly
one.
the,
No,
Charmander.
that was Unreal.
Was it
I
Unreal?
think it was Unreal.
Though I know there's a version running on Unity which the guy displayed on what is it, Oculus. So he had the two screens next to each
I
other.
thought you were talking about the one where you can actually use, it has hand movement.
Okay, sure. I don't think I've seen that then.
I think he used the hand movements, and on the screen, were the commands. So I think it was trying to emulate touchscreen using the Oculus to command your Pokemon to do something. I'm not sure if that was like fan made or real gameplay or anything.
The one thing that everybody wants, I'm pretty sure, was Pokemon MMO, right? Everybody wants
Oh yeah,
no,
official
yeah.
Pokemon MMO.
Oh yeah.
Unlike that one that came out a few years back where everyone's lagging all over the place and they're
Oh yeah,
That was,
I saw
um,
that. I saw that.
That was the one based on the Fire Red engine. Right?
yes, yes.
Oh,
So yeah, no, they want a Pokemon MMO. This is my speculation, right?
Yeah.
Nintendo doesn't want to push it out. They can't make it right now. They don't want to push it out until they are in a financial crisis. They need this. Like Pokemon's a pretty good franchise, right? If they drop that MMO out, everybody's gonna go crazy. They're gonna make a lot of money.
Yeah.
I think that's the only reason holding them back.
Like, so you've got Pokemon Go coming out, and you've also got Pokken coming out as well.
Pocket
I'm
Pokemon
not,
Tekken.
I'm not sure.
Pokken
what
is
that
It's like that. It's like a Tekken game.
Yeah, it's a Pokemon
But
Tekken
Pokemon.
game. It's they're collaborating with Tekken to create a Pokemon fighting game.
Okay.
So I think they want to test the waters of a lot of different platforms before the MMO, because like if they do the MMO, it's going to be I'm scared it's going to end up like WoW, where it's going to have that massive hype for a few years and then just go down incredibly.
But the thing is, though, WoW would probably be considered one of the best player-based sustaining MMOs out there, I reckon, apart from EVE Online. Like, it's been, I don't know how many years, but it's been around for quite a long dang time.
Oh yeah, WoW.
And then there's still people playing it.
WoW.
Yeah, WoW.
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
still
WoW's
a
got
very
a
big
big
following. So, like, if you look at it like something else like MapleStory, it came out after WoW. It's dead already, you know?
You know, one of the MapleStory 2 that was built off the HTML5 engine.
So MapleStory 2 it's already out in Korea. So, but it has an IP block from what I heard. So you either VPN your way into it, waste of time, and you need to know how to read Korean, which is a waste of time either. Like the music's good, the music's good.
Oh yeah.
No offense, but
Sweet.
you know.
Keep going.
yeah, but MapleStory 2 looks interesting. It's got a completely new design compared with MapleStory 1. Like I played it for quite a while and it was really interesting. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's probably gonna be another year until it's released in the States on C servers or North American servers.
But like, who still plays MapleStory? That's the thing.
I have friends in the US who still plays MapleStory.
Really? I know a lot of guys back in high school that were really into it. And MapleStory is the one you had to keep buying NX or something, right? I don't know. But would you guys play the hell out of Pokemon Go?
Well, I
But
don't know. I don't know because it has in-game purchases too. It's like that kind of hinders like.
Buy the Pokeballs,
Yeah, exactly. That and
buy all the Master Balls.
Yeah, buy all
Pay
the
to win,
Master-
pay to win.
yeah.
Oh yeah, it would be a pay-to-win kind of game, but
But from what I've seen from Ingress and Nitec and basically essentially up to some extent Google funding it, it wouldn't link too much. Hopefully.
hopefully.
Yeah. There's one other thing though with the Pokemon Go. From what I've seen from the trailer, everyone has pretty high-end smartphones, so
Yeah.
it'll be pretty hard to get in. Say if you have a last-gen smartphone.
Oh yeah. True.
Not too sure. Like the good thing is I saw both Android devices and
iPhone,
iOS,
Yeah.
Yeah.
which is good. Like they're pushing it on both services. But
What about Windows Phone? That's probably good.
Exactly.
nah, no one cares about Windows. Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see how they make sure that the system works, or like the program works over as many systems as possible.
Yeah, so it would be like there would be an OS compatibility issue.
Yeah. True.
With Ingress, the iOS version came out like a couple of years after the Android release.
I thought Ingress was just for Android.
No, it's out on iOS now as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
What I didn't realize though, well, what I hope would eventually come out is, I don't know, a Digimon version of the game.
Really, Digimon?
Yeah.
How's that gonna work?
Well, it would be like a similar concept, as it'd be a similar concept to the Pokemon Go game, but put more of a Digimon orientated thing.
You know, it's actually quite funny how you mentioned Digimon, right? Because if you think about it, if you're running something similar to Ingress, with a Digimon theme on phones.
Yeah.
Isn't it the same as that toy that came out in the 2000s, which you had handheld, which you ran around and took pictures and you catch Digimon? Did you guys see that? You scan barcodes with it or something like that.
Oh, the Digivice.
Yes.
It was
It would be
the
the same thing,
it was
pretty
the
much.
it was the Gen 4 Digivice, where you had to scan.
You had that rattle function where it's like, I
Yeah.
walked so far, there's a chance of meeting something or something
Yeah.
like
Oh,
that.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think I've seen that before.
No, what?
Is that-
Wouldn't
Wouldn't it just be the same though? And that didn't really work pretty well. It died after a few generations, I think.
I think it died after. What was it? It was 1, 2, 3, and 4 generation Digivices were a big thing. I don't remember seeing a fifth one because there was a huge gap between the 4th generation and the 5th generation, and the 5th generation didn't really catch on.
Yeah.
But now the first generation's coming back. There's gonna be a lot of hype. I'm hoping there's gonna be a lot of hype, not necessarily to the new audience, but like to us that grew up watching Gen 1.
Another thing that just came to my mind just then is the target audience. If you want to put it crudely, right? So if you look at this new game that's coming out, Pokemon Go.
Yeah.
I don't think it has a classification right now, but I'll just call it a real life MMO, right? That's pretty much what you're doing. Walking around.
Okay.
You're going to physical locations to do quests,
Yeah.
essentially in a meta sense.
Yeah.
But something else you need to consider is that the Pokemon generation, right? We are kind of in the Pokemon generation.
We are the Pokemon generation.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So how old are we now?
We are 21.
We're hitting mid 20s, right?
Yeah.
In a
Yeah,
couple of
yeah.
years, we're gonna be like 30s. We're gonna be businessmen, right?
Yeah, well,
Right.
that's
So-
the
so-
idea.
Yeah. So what happens is right now we have time to jump on our DSs between classes, right?
Oh, definitely.
Pop
Yeah,
up Pokemon, have a couple of games, and then go to your next class.
Yeah.
Maybe in a couple of years on the bus to work,
Yeah.
play a few games. But what happens when, you need to be somewhere to play that game, which is the issue I'm bringing up here. So if you need to be two blocks down from your office to catch a Pokemon, right?
Yeah.
You can't physically do that. You don't have the time for it. Unlike a handheld device, you can just bring it up, boot it up, play your game, get done with it, and
So are you
yeah.
saying the new game is trying to target a new audience as well? At the
Yes,
same time as
they'll
keeping it-
need a new audience. That's why.
Well, like I don't see Pokemon being a thing for the new generation now.
What do you think is replacing it then? In that case,
Yokai?
What is
Yokai
that?
Watch. Yes, I heard about that. Yokai Watch is really popular in Japan right now.
And in America.
Yeah. So that's actually quite surprising. I had a look at it. It didn't really catch on with me in a sense.
No, it didn't. Because it seemed a bit too over the top. Even in character design.
But there are people who say that Yokai Watch is basically Pokemon in a sense.
The new generation of Pokemon.
Yeah.
It does remind me though, in the Pokemon Go trailer, it does come with, you can buy like an additional, was it the GPS locator thing?
Is it? I think so.
Yeah,
Are you talking about the ping they had?
the pin.
Yeah.
The pin that was meant to look like a Pokeball, but also the Google Map pin.
All right.
See, the function behind that is to let people, or to let the system know where you are, and to notify you if you're nearby a Pokemon.
Well, I find that somewhat strange because when I saw the trailer, I thought it was just some decorative accessory that you can purchase. It's like merchandise, right?
Yeah.
Because, right, your phone has GPS.
Yeah.
Like, there's no reason for you to have something else like that. And even if it's like, just building on what you'll say, you'll throw that to catch a Pokemon, right?
That's gonna be really weird.
You gotta make something very durable. You're gonna have random people throwing objects at people out in the streets, right?
That would be fun.
You're gonna hit some big buff guy who never heard of Pokemans, right?
Like, I thought you were a Machamp.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh
So
my God.
you're gonna piss people off. You're gonna have to build a device that is durable enough to be thrown on the ground repeatedly. So I think it's just some merchandise. It wouldn't be anything official.
What is official? It was official thing.
Yeah, like, but the
But it won't catch on.
yeah.
But are you guys looking forward? Are you guys looking forward to the Pokemon game though?
Not really. We don't have much information about it though.
It really depends on how it's implemented up to some extent.
Because at the moment it's only an arcade game.
Wasn't there some what is it? Some engine some guy built a while back, which you can basically import any character from fighting games, anime series.
You know about Mugen?
Yes, that. That didn't
I love that.
really. I played it and it was super clunky. Like you could import pretty much anything you want, and if you spend time on it, you can build a pretty accurate character model. But the one thing I really disliked about it was the clunkiness. So I never really got into Tekken, all the fighting games like BlazBlue, was it?
Yeah, plays
Yeah. They just felt clunky to me. The only fighting game I really got into was the Toho fighting games.
Oh yeah, I do remember you.
Yeah, so it's a lot more smoother in a sense, and I don't know, personal preference, I guess.
But like Mugen was it was a community game, so I don't blame it for being chunky. But because it was so, um, it was such an internet community thing. The amount of the balance was really bad. I remember if you ever played Mugen, guys, and if you ever downloaded um, Broly from Dragon Ball Z, he literally was invincible to beat. If you used the only way you could kill Broly is if you used Light from Death Note, and his only attack was instant kill because of Death Note.
So since you said it was a community-based engine in a sense,
Yeah.
are the characters moderated anyway?
Nope.
No, so
Yeah, no.
basically you can create your own character,
You
pop
can-
it up there.
Yep.
Oh wow.
I guess what they tried to do most of the time was either make it from scratch or import it straight from another game. Well, like on the topic of like Android smartphones, because I do realize because Android and smartphones are a big thing now. What's gonna happen to the traditional consoles and PC market? Because okay, we did talk about Pokken. That's been announced for the Wii U. But what about the PS4, the Xbox? We're not talking about 5 years. Not about 10 years. We're talking about. Okay, so you said when we're 30. What's gonna happen to consoles when we're 30? Cause that's. It's not gonna be the same in 10 years time. We got virtual reality coming out. What do you guys think is gonna happen to traditional consoles?
So personal opinion, just putting it out there, I'm not a fanboy of any form. I prefer not to be put that way. But
You don't want to take any sides.
yeah, pretty much.
in the
So,
console
but
war.
if you look at it, if you pull a PS4 apart, you pull Xbox apart, and you take a PC apart, they're pretty much the same thing, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm not gonna say that a console is a low-end PC, but if you look at the hardware, that's pretty much what it is.
They're the
right?
same.
So back in the good old days of PS1, PS2, Xbox 360 minus the Red Ring of Death, the reason why people got consoles was because of the ease. You can just go home, relax, shove a cartridge in there, it's all done, right? Then you have PS3, which introduced basically preloading, which you load a part of the game's data onto your console and it made loading faster.
Yeah.
So that brought in the whole issue of this loading screen, right?
Yeah.
People don't like loading screens. You have open world games. Now these days on PS4, which basically runs the PC architecture, you have issues of installing games. From what I heard, you need to pre-install or you must preload certain games to make it run
Yep.
in the first place, which takes away the whole idea of plug and play in a sense. Like console, bring it over to your friend's house, plug and play,
Yeah.
straightforward. So like which generation of consoles are we up to now? Like fifth or sixth, I believe.
I think it's the fifth. I think.
Yeah. So
What
like-
would consider being the first then?
I'm not too sure, but they have a name for this. But I really can see consoles getting phased out in the near future because hardware-wise, console prices are gonna it's gonna keep rising, right?
Yeah.
If you're looking at you can bring AAA titles to consoles and PCs at the same time.
Yeah.
You have that issue. What was it? The latest Assassin's Creed, where essentially, oh no, sorry, it wasn't Assassin's Creed. Watch Dogs, where they brought the title out to PlayStation
only.
first,
Yeah.
and then they put it out to everything else. And there was a lot of controversy over the fact that they released it on PC, and the PC basically had this inbuilt system which reduced the graphics setting, which you can't pump it up, so they can say that PS4 looks the same as PC.
Wow.
So I think it was Watch Dogs, but there was a scandal with Ubisoft about the whole thing.
See, that's the thing though. The only reason why, or what I think was keeping consoles alive was that the exclusive titles per console was the reason why people had to buy those consoles. So take for instance, I only bought an Xbox 360 a few years ago just to play Halo.
Yeah, that's
The only
definitely
reason
true.
I would buy an Xbox now is to play Halo. Because Halo 5 is coming out. I want to play it. I have a PS4. Unless one of you guys want to buy me an Xbox One.
Yeah. No,
Nah,
you,
it's all
heard, you heard about the Halo Collector's Edition, which bombed out. Yeah, so they released the Halo's Collector's Edition.
The servers are really bad.
Yeah, you couldn't connect. Apparently, there was like frame issues with the older games. They're not really made to work on the new console.
Yep.
So a bunch of people got pissed at them for that.
No, but they fixed that.
Yeah,
Like
true,
every game during opening week would have issues. Batman Arkham Knight.
But you're making assumptions here. Like games, you're saying that they can be released at 80% complete.
That's what a lot of people are saying as well. And I've
So how would you feel if I sold you a burger and the meat was like,
half cooked.
yeah,
Then I'll give it back to you and throw it in your face.
exactly, right? So why are you fine with a game that gets released and then you need to wait like a month
See-
for them to hot fix it?
See, that's the thing.
You know?
That's the thing though. I'm not the type of guy. Not anymore. I'm not the type of guy to buy a game opening week anymore.
Yeah.
Because I know in today's market, the games you buy aren't going to be done. Some of them are still buggy as hell. If you go back to Pokemon,
Yes.
they are still patching Pokemon.
Yes.
Omega Ruby.
Yes. It's amazing how smoothly it's made. It was like a few generations back, I think 2 generations back. So if we say we're currently at the Omega Ruby stage, right, where they made Pokemon 3D,
Yep.
and that's where I assumed where a lot of bugs will come out, and they made a pretty good transition, I guess.
Yeah.
I heard that was, in when Pokemon X and Y came out, right?
Yeah.
And if you save your game on Lumio City or something, the game just crashes. or just
Yeah,
freezes.
I remember that.
Yeah, I remember that. So when it first came out, that happened.
And a lot of people had to like forcibly new game their cartridge.
Yeah, it was just so annoying. And it's like, that's like, I think, like the second or third city, those location in the game. So if you screw up there, that means like your progress is all gone.
Yeah, they patched that. They patched it eventually.
Yeah, they patched it eventually.
But that took a while
So
for that
game-breaking bugs, in a sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then there's still a lot of AAA titles out there right now which still have their game-breaking bugs. No.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So that's why I'm not gonna buy a game first week, or even the first month.
If you like in this case, right? What do you think is driving like publishers to push out their titles early? My opinion is essentially, the companies these days are tied too closely with their corporates, like their backers, their stakeholders. They want the game out. They're like, this game it should have been done, right? Like let's just say, for example, EA, right? They're known for pushing out half-baked stuff, but their developers could be like, we need more time to finish this, but they don't have the power to. The corporates
No,
are
they
like,
don't.
get this thing out there. We want the revenue from it. So
They just want the initial revenue.
yeah. So what they're doing is essentially they're ruining the brand name, and because they're doing it, every single other
Company is
yeah,
doing
yeah,
it.
exactly. So eventually you're gonna reach a point where, like, games are gonna be released way too early than they should be, and they're just buggy.
See, would you consider that as a accidental trend?
I think it's just based on the fact that people's impatient. Everybody's impatient. I want my hands on that new Pokemon game. I don't.
Yeah, but like I'm impatient as well, but I do want to play a game that doesn't break in the first 5 minutes. So if like Pokemon Go is coming out next year,
So you're saying that you rather wait a little bit more,
yeah,
play a complete game, and pay money for it in a sense.
exactly.
But the thing is, corporates not really understanding that.
Give
For
a shit.
them, exactly. But
I don't give a shit
Do you
about
have-
corporate.
do you have any recommendations in that case? If anyone from a corporate ends
Well,
up
okay,
listening
so
to this?
if a corporate guy is listening to this podcast for whatever reason, if you want to make a product, make a good product, because if you start making five games that have shit initial releases. The 6th game, Jerry will probably go. The last 5 games had a really bad opening week.
Fuck it, I'm done.
Exactly. Fuck it,
Throw
I'm
the console
done.
out the window.
Exactly. No one's gonna buy a game anymore because obviously you have to keep waiting for content to come out, and that's what you're expecting. Cause what was the game that I'm thinking of? Destiny. Destiny is I won't call it the WoW model.
It's a DLC model, in a sense.
It's a DLC model, but they're calling it expansions.
Mm.
And I'm not sure if it was the last expansion or the expansion before, was equivalent to the price of the actual game.
Yeah, so essentially DLCs is something companies brought in to make more money off a game which is doing well, right? Like there's a right way to do it and there's a wrong way, right? So Destiny will be the wrong way in a sense. But if you want to look at a good example, GTA 5 is a good example of like the right way of doing DLC. So they're not charging anybody for the DLC.
They're not.
They're bringing it out. They're bringing it out.
Cool.
And then you just get random updates where you'll be like, oh, there's a couple of new cars in your garage and everyone's happy about it.
Because everyone loves GTA.
Yeah.
I don't remember, like I've never been a massive fan of GTA, but I generally haven't heard about a really shit GTA game.
Yeah. It's because the company does their marketing well in a sense. And, they care about I wouldn't say they exactly care about players, but it feels like they care about the players up to some extent.
You would think someone in corporate cares.
Yeah, pretty much. So then if that brings up back to like the original topic, like consoles, right?
Yeah.
So, in a few years, as graphics evolve, right? So these days everybody's into like high poly, you want more detail.
Exactly.
What's the point of having consoles if they need to load in a sense? And like, I'm not talking about portable consoles, I'm talking about like at-home TV consoles. You can just buy a PC, do a lot more. I'm not going to say Mac or Windows, that's up to you. You can play some iOS now as well.
Yeah.
But it just really makes the console redundant. As well as these days, you have Chromecast, Wi-Fi sharing. You can, like even if your PC's in another room, you want something under your TV, right? You can just share onto your TV and it's all good. Smart TVs these days,
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
And Steam's doing their own thing as well.
Yeah, exactly. So Steam, they have the new Steam consoles coming. Well, consoles in a sense.
Was it the Steam Box?
Yeah, the Steam Box.
It was called the Steam Box.
It's doing really badly now though, because no one's buying it.
That's what they said about what was the other console that came out? It was the Kickstarter one.
Ouya.
Ouya.
Horrible. Android-based console.
Yeah, everyone was really hyped about the Ouya. Like, look at this console. It's being kickstarted. The community loves it. Came out 2 months later. So what happens to the Ouya?
It just died.
It just died. Who's still making games for the Ouya?
No, well, technically it just runs on Android games. They did make a few official Ouya games which run on Android, but they're not very well done. So you have that issue of like how to broadcast, like how you have a phone, right? You have vertical, horizontal.
Yeah.
You have a TV. The TV doesn't really move, but you gotta make sure the thing fits well. If you have like, generally phone games are pretty like pixelized. Let's put it away.
Yeah.
If you put that on a 52-inch plasma, nobody's gonna love it.
Yeah. No.
It's gonna look like dog shit.
Nah.
Yeah.
But then you can say that the handheld consoles are going in the same direction. What do you reckon? DSs, PSPs? Do you think they'll go with
No,
the TV
I
consoles?
think the TV consoles would die out before
Yeah.
the handhelds, because they're still, the whole point of handhelds is portable gaming.
Right.
That's just the same as playing a game on your phone.
But yeah, exactly.
If I wanted to play a decent game, I would personally choose a handheld system over my phone.
But the thing is, so where's the advantage over a handheld system over a phone? Processor, not really. Screen size, not really.
No.
Like connectivity, not really. Right? Like
Yeah.
Nintendo announced a few years back that they said they were gonna make, a bunch of Nintendo like games on Android.
They were not. I think I know what you're talking about. They were going to re-release all the old classic games onto the mobile platform.
Yeah. So my opinion is that like not immediately, but over the next maybe 50 years, smartphones definitely going to take over handhelds, and eventually you're just going to have a market which, like the smartphone market, which will absorb both handhelds and just mobile devices, including cameras.
It's already taken the camera market.
Yeah, pretty much. Like
It's
no
no one's buying
DSLRs.
no, people are still buying DSLRs if they want to do professional
Yeah.
like photography, but the amateur photography market is gone.
Mm.
Like no one will buy a small Canon, or I can't think of any other camera brand. A small Canon or a small Nikon anymore. You've got phones that can do that, and it takes up the same space in your pocket than it takes less space in your pocket than a traditional camera.
You also got the apps as well. You gotta have the correct, or I wouldn't say correct, or like the most suitable app which can do like the adjusting, like for example Instagram.
Like filtering.
Yeah, filtering. Yeah.
Because a traditional camera, most of them don't filter. I haven't used a traditional camera in a really long time, so I can't say that they have their filtering system there.
But it would take lighting into account as well.
No, but then you would still have the lighting issue on an iPhone as well.
Yeah, true.
A lot of people have made workarounds to fix the lighting for iPhones and Samsung phones. Because I found this on the net recently. A guy made a small how do I call this? A small handheld video camera, like a traditional what would you call that?
Camcorder?
No, yeah, the really big clunky camcorders.
It's like the one with the one that like news people, like
Yeah,
camera people.
yeah, but like
news things,
a
or-
smaller version of that. And the idea is you put your phone into it, and the lens that's actually on the camcorder fixes the lighting.
Interesting.
Oh,
Yeah.
so it uses the hardware of the phone.
Yeah, so the actual hardware is from the phone.
Okay.
The machine itself is just to fix lighting.
So essentially, you're basically giving the phone a lens. in a sense.
Exactly.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's pretty cool.
I'm not sure if it caught on. It's just something I randomly found on the net. Let's go back to consoles because we just went straight into lighting for some reason. I don't know why that happened. Look, there will be a place for like home consoles. There still will be in the future. Whether or not it will continue to thrive.
Unless they're upgraded like so many times. You know how like the PS1 or something, the PlayStation, they just keep upgrading and people just got hating it and stuff like that.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, there aren't many titles that are innovative anymore. Because look, you got franchises that are spouting out the same thing every year.
Call of Duty.
Call of Duty.
Yep.
You got Assassin's Creed.
Yep.
Halo. I want to say Pokemon because we did say Pokemon.
It will be included, yeah.
Pokemon has been around for 20 years. 20 years? 20 years. 20 years now.
20 years, yeah.
What's another big franchise that's keep throwing out more or less the same thing?
Oh.
See, that's the good thing about Pokemon Go. It's not throwing out the same thing this time. It's kind of the same thing,
But more on handheld devices or like
and
more
it's more,
interactive.
and it's a bit more innovative in the way they've done things this time.
I think you can just say that's just Nintendo. That's just Nintendo doing the right thing.
Yeah, for once integrating a good version, a good upgrade of the traditional game.
Because Nintendo is known for trying out new things, right? Like you have the Wii, right? You have a bunch of different games like
Super Mario.
Mario. Also originally it's a side-scrolling 2D, right?
Yeah.
They made Mario Party, which was
Then
epic.
Mario 3D.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not sure how well Paper Mario went. I was actually quite interested, but back then I didn't have a console and no money. But yeah. And then
Even Mario's more or less spitting out the same thing.
yeah, exactly. So what it feels like to me is just that Nintendo, because if you really want to put it into perspective, the three big console companies, right? Sony, Microsoft for Xbox, and then you have Nintendo with the Wii line, right?
Yeah.
But if you want to say like competitive wise, it's more so just Microsoft and Sony doing it out, and Nintendo's got their own niche market.
See, I remember one of the executives for Sony saying on one stage, there is competition between Sony and Microsoft. That's a big given. And Nintendo's there. The market would not be the same without Nintendo.
Exactly. And the thing you gotta realize is that Sony is in a really bad position right now. They like economics wise.
Sony hack? Are you referring to that?
No, not really, but just that the whole corporate is not doing that well economically. Neither is Microsoft. Like they have money, but not that much money to spend on their consoles in a sense. But if you look at Nintendo, they got a lot of money saved up right now. They're not in a big hurry to.
They're pulling out another console like in the next few years.
Yes, but they can. They have the money for it. That's what I'm saying. They
you
have
say
the money
that,
set.
but there's heaps of reports about Nintendo going into bankruptcy or falling behind and making losses every year.
I'm not too sure then in that case. But this is just what I've looked up into.
Yeah.
But the main reason I reckon Nintendo just keep pulling new stuff out of their ass is because they have the money for it. It's kind of like Samsung, you know. Samsung, like iPhone rivals. You'll probably say Samsung's the biggest, right? And Samsung has a knack for basically, they have so much money, they can, make some stuff, throw it at the wall, see if it sticks. If it does, yay, that's a new product line with the Galaxy Edge, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So if it fails, back to the drawing board. They got
also
the money for it.
Samsung also has like these other phones that I've never ever heard of. It's like overseas or something. Like I saw it on a website or something, and it has a Samsung. I don't know what the name is, but I saw it and it was like really expensive. It was like an upgrade from like the S5 or something, or between the S5 and the Note and the Edge or something like that. And it has this weird name which I've never heard of. I've never seen it like on an advertisement before. Yeah, like you said, like Samsung, they have a lot of money, so they're just pulling out all of these products we've never heard of as well.
See, what happened yesterday was the Apple had a conference yesterday as well.
Oh my god, the smart pen.
The smart pen,
the pen.
The iPad Pro.
Yes.
Yeah.
Apparently there was a new iteration of the iPad Mini, which literally was a smaller iPad Mini for the same price as the regular iPad Air. There was literally no difference, and they spent 5 seconds talking about it. Just went straight to the Pro. The Pro, though, looks great, but I don't know who's going to buy it.
Well, rich people, obviously.
Yeah.
Rich people are going to buy the iPad Pro.
Or just like Apple collectors or something.
Apple collectors.
Yeah, or the people who collect every single Apple product.
That's maybe probably one of the most expensive collections you can actually do. You get something new every year, so I really can't complain about that.
Isn't Apple now doing like bi-yearly? So like they push out, so they do the mini line at like the start of the year, then do the main line at the end of the year or something like that. So they do that bi-yearly push. It's like Call of Duty as well. It's like 2 new titles a year. I'm not sure what they're trying to get at though. Like,
what are they trying to get at?
Like, for example, if we go back to consoles, because that's what we're here to talk about in like the second half anyway.
Yeah.
PS1 to PS2, right? There's a massively processing graphics, right? PS2 to PS3, same thing, right?
That was the big jump.
Like
Big jump.
iPad Air 1 to iPad Air 2. What do you have? Thinner,
Thinner.
smaller bezels,
Yep.
updated. I'm gonna say updated because it's pretty much the same processor. So essentially of getting a new device, which is basically the same old, you're not really getting much else to it.
It's not even just the hardware. The operating system changes every year as well.
Yeah, the only thing I reckon Apple is doing well, from my point of view, is they are doing really well with their whole iOS system. They're releasing it, like if you have an Apple device, you can get it for free. They're releasing updates. It's always up, like you have the most current for its, Microsoft is also trying to get towards that, with the Windows 10 release.
Yeah.
You do know where they're trying to go with the Windows 10, right?
To make up for Windows 8.
No, not that. No. So basically, when they release Windows 10, they're not gonna come out with another Windows 11.
Yeah. So they're just gonna keep patching it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I heard about that.
So this is how I understood was basically if you buy a Windows 10 license, after that if you buy a license for a device, it will have lifetime support on updates and new patches. So I think Apple did that pretty well, and Windows is a bit late to the market to that.
See, the thing is, I haven't got Windows 10 yet, and I'm assuming they're gonna keep the same business model, so that you have to keep renewing your license every year or two. That's also an annoying thing, but I guess that's where they're gonna make their money. At the end of the day, have you tried Windows 10?
Yes.
What do you think? I haven't tried it yet. It looks great.
My review will be extremely biased. Extremely.
Okay, no, that's fine. Go ahead.
Do you want me to talk about it?
Go
Alright,
ahead. Go
So
ahead.
my daily driver laptop broke essentially.
Yeah.
So what happened was I dropped down to JB, picked up a $400. It was the Asus Transformer book. So
Oh yeah, my sister has one of those.
yeah, so detachable screen, tablet, computer in one, runs Windows, pretty snazzy.
Yeah.
Runs Windows 8. This was before the release party, so it was like the beta release of Windows 10. So
Yeah.
when you purchase a tablet that runs Windows 8, when you boot it up, Windows sends you a message. Do you want to try out Windows 10?
Yeah.
Right? Of course. Chuck it on.
Okay.
That device I had, updated to Windows 10, crashed the day after. Wouldn't boot ever again. So I thought, might not be Windows 10's fault.
Sure.
Big company, right?
Sure.
Might be the device. It's a pretty old device. It's cheap,
Yeah.
So all right, so takes it back to JB. Got a new device, brand new.
Yeah.
Windows 8 as well. Boot it back up to Windows 10.
Yeah.
Crashes.
Again.
It's some compatibility issue.
Sure.
I'm like, you know what? Hat trick, can't go bad again, right?
Yeah. Third time.
Take it
Third
back.
time, yeah.
Got my device. Used it a couple days on Windows 8. Beautiful device
Right.
Yeah.
for its price point.
Yeah.
Okay.
Got home, updated to Windows 10. No.
Crashed again.
Still crashed.
Yeah. So
This is still during beta week though.
yes, this was during beta, so I wouldn't really blame it on Microsoft because if you look at Apple, iOS, there's an iPad series, there's an iPad mini series, there's an iPhone, right? There's only so many devices they need to cater for, whereas Microsoft, if you custom build a PC, it can run Windows. If you build something, it runs Windows. They have to have like a massive ecosystem they need to manage for.
Yeah,
And
that's
it
true.
wouldn't be surprising since it's in beta for a couple devices to not be able to use it correctly,
Yeah.
right? So that's why I said my experience is biased. But
Have
during
you
the-
tried the official release though?
No, I have not. But during the period which the computer worked with Windows 10 before I shut it down and crashed,
Yeah.
no, it was beautiful.
It was beautiful.
Yes, it's basically, it feels like it's Windows 8 scaled back with like Windows 7 interface.
Good.
It
Good.
runs a lot smoother.
Good.
And if I have the chance and the money, I'll definitely upgrade my computer to it.
Well, because
It feels like the next iteration of Windows 7.
Well,
That's what it
because,
feels
because you had a version of Windows 10, a version of Windows 8, you should have been given a free 1 year.
I have never used Windows 8. I updated one of my old laptops to Windows 8, used it for a couple of days. It had a touchscreen, yes, because apparently that's a part of the experience. No, it was completely crap. Dropped it back to Windows 7. I've been using Windows 7 since.
See, like
yeah.
I have Windows 8 on my main machine at home.
Mhm.
It is, I can't get my way around through that stupid
It's so
interface.
hard, right, to maneuver around.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what they did with Windows 10 was that the whole interface is gone, and you have the start button.
And it has it there.
Yeah, and then if you want to, you can click on the start button to go to that Windows 8 interface, which is nice. And one of the things I realized when I was using the Transformer tab was they actually really thought about when the device will be a tablet with a touchscreen and when it will be a computer.
Yeah.
So when you put it off, you're automatically running to the Windows 8 surface, which will essentially
Okay, that's
Give
cool.
you-
That's cool.
give you like the whole
Yeah.
big icon tiles, the side swiping, all that.
Yeah.
When you plug it into a dock,
Goes
so
back
it's a
to Windows-
computer, you get the desktop, full desktop.
Back to Windows 7 mode.
Yeah, so that was interesting. So
That's a good way to go around this.
so that's why I said my opinion was extremely biased.
That's what Windows 8 should have been.
Yeah, should have.
But like, was Windows 8 has been around for what do you call it, 2 years? 2 years? 2 years now. I wouldn't.
Look, these days it's all about the ecosystem, right?
Yeah, but like,
Android's got their ecosystem, Apple's got their ecosystem. Windows,
I tried to catch up in a rush.
no, it didn't happen. Windows Phone, it's popular in what you call it, let's just say less developed countries because they're cheaper.
Yeah.
They have some apps that you need to use, and they generally last longer in terms of battery life because they're Nokia phones in a sense.
Yeah.
But they don't have an ecosystem, and in countries like Australia, America, they're not preferred because the high-end Windows phones cost the same as like high-end Android device.
Yeah, you might as well get the like
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
the high-end Android or Apple device. If you're gonna spend that much money anyway, and what the catalog of apps on Apple and Samsung dominate Windows.
Do you remember that app that came out like a few years back, where it's called I Am Rich or something, Make Me Rich or something like that?
No.
And there was like a paid app on the iOS store has like some system which means you can't just put apps on there, right? Android, basically, if you want, you can chuck out app on the market. Somebody made an app called Make Me Rich or I Am Rich. It costs like, what, it was 99 cents to download. And once you buy it, all it does is just says I am rich. That's what it is.
That's it.
So it's basically that guy saying, I want to get rich on the app, right?
Smart move.
The thing, so yeah,
Smart.
it went viral. That's why.
It was a smart move.
So it's just
there.
trying to be like rich, just like so people download the app with the 99
Pay,
cent.
yeah, paid for the app
Yeah.
just for the novelty of having that app on their phone. It's like Flappy Bird. It wasn't that fun.
Oh yeah, true.
Everyone had it because
No,
everyone had
it was funny, but it was fun because it was so damn frustrating.
It was frustrating. There's a lot of
They-
people piss people off.
There was a period of time. You know how Flappy Bird got taken away?
Yeah.
People were selling their phones
Yes,
on
it's
Yeah,
Flappy
eBay.
Bird.
their phone and then like people smashed it and like throw it against
Oh
the
my
walls and all
God.
that.
Ridiculous pricing for the devices that have Flappy Bird loaded on it.
I thought that was a prank.
No,
Like,
it wasn't.
No, it was for reals, man. It was for reals.
Oh. And then
There's people buying it. Yeah.
Because it's rare now.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
considered rare now. Because
I
you
still
can't
have
download
Flappy
it anymore.
I still have Flappy Bird on my phone.
I don't. I didn't.
Oh, I smashed that phone ages ago.
Oh really?
I go through phones like once a year. It's not because
Why?
the phones
I've
are
had-
broken.
I've had this
Or
phone-
I want newer devices. It's just I smash them.
How?
Well, I take them up to snow every year, and they either get waterlogged, froze, or can't do anything
I
about
don't
it.
know what you're doing with your
But
phone.
I've been staying with the Nexus line, which are cheap.
The Nexus 5?
Yeah,
I've heard the Nexus 5 has a motherboard issue.
it does, and Google does well to compensate for it.
What do you mean?
So I had the Nexus 5 for 2 years.
Yep.
The first device I got was a pre-order device.
Yep.
And what happened was about half a year later, I got an update,
Yep.
which essentially crashed the phone, bricked the phone.
Yeah.
Send it back to Google. They're like, no problem. Give you a new device.
Oh, cool.
I got a brand new device within 2 weeks.
Was it backed up to the new device?
No, I had Google, the whole Google's automatic backup system.
Okay.
So basically, it's my phone, but it's a new device.
The same Nexus 5, like
Yeah.
same model?
Yes, well, it'll be a different batch, but it'll be the same Nexus.
Fair enough.
And then they gave it to me. They didn't charge me for shipping.
Okay, cool.
It's just basically, I had a 1 week period which I had no phone, but
Smart move, Google.
yeah, exactly. So the customer service with the Nexus devices, I'm really happy with them.
See, if you go to Apple, they were gonna charge you like $100 for the pairs.
Yeah, exactly.
I do need a new phone though. What do you guys would recommend?
Wait half a year, get the new Nexus 5.
The new Nexus 5.
I'm biased though on this point. Yeah, there's a Nexus 5 and a Nexus 6 coming out end of this month. Speculative, but it's definitely coming out end of this year.
Because I'm still rocking an iPhone 4.
So it's gonna have all the new stuff. So it's gonna have a laser focus camera. What is it? So what is it? Fingerprint sensors,
Oh, cool.
Quad HD screen, USB Type C, all that stuff.
USB Type C. See, I still don't think that's gonna catch on.
Yes. So USB Type C. So if you have like USB 2.0, yeah, you have like a micro USB cable lying around your house. That's why it's so popular. Everyone has one, right?
Yeah.
USB Type C, when it just comes out, whatever device you purchase with it, it's gonna have Type C, right? But you're gonna have one cable with it.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be pretty frustrating. It'll be the same as what is it? The the Mac cable?
Yeah.
What is it? The Fire something? A
The-
Firewire or something.
No,
like that.
the Thunderbolt.
Oh, the Thunderbolt port.
Yeah.
And then the cable is called something else. I don't remember. But basically, when you bring out a new proprietary jack,
Yeah.
people's gonna get pissed at you. And the good thing about this is because USB Type C, if it actually is embraced, it has a very big market. So pretty much anything Android can run on it.
When it does get embraced.
Yeah. So there's gonna be a period. Don't know how long, but it's gonna be a period until the cable itself is gonna be everywhere. And when that happens, yes, it will take over.
It will.
But the one thing I heard, I'm not sure, is Type C doesn't support quick charging.
Really?
I'm not sure though, because the first phone that came out with Type C was the OnePlus 2, And apparently because of Type C, 1 plus 2 could not have quick charging.
Wait, the 1 plus 2 by HTC.
Yeah. No, HTC by the company 1 plus 2.
Oh, it's called the company 1 plus 2.
Yeah,
Okay.
the company's
Isn't it the
called
Chinese plant?
Yeah, so the company's called OnePlus.
Oh, okay.
They made the OnePlus One, which was like ridiculously good. So they made the OnePlus Two this year, which had all the new bells and whistles, and it came with Type C, but it had basically charging issues where you don't get the normal fast charge because it's Type C. I'm not sure if it's like a hardware restriction or software restriction. Hopefully it's software.
I don't know. It just seems like I don't think it's gonna. Okay, it will probably become a big thing, but
Not right now.
Not right now. Not anytime soon. Even if you look at it this way, USB 2 is still a thing. USB 3 is still.
Not really. Nobody really likes USB 3.
USB 3 is still
A Samsung thing.
being integrated.
Yeah.
Now they're introducing.
Oh wait, hold on. I got you confused there. You're talking about USB 3.0. I'm talking
Yeah.
about the other USB thing,
What do you-
which Samsung uses. It's like a wide USB jack. It's like not micro
What?
USB, but it plugs into Samsung phones, gives you quick charging, and you can stick a normal micro USB in there.
But
It's like wider than normal.
it'll be loose though then.
No, I think I should be able to find you a picture.
Okay. But what phone uses it though?
Samsung phones.
Just only
The,
Samsung
the,
phones.
the Note series.
Also the Note, of course.
I thought they were just
The big
normal.
ass.
Because
I-
the Notes are pretty big.
I thought they were just normal micro USB ports.
They're not.
No, I don't
they're not.
think so.
They got that weird ass
Oh.
port thing.
Well, I don't know because I don't know what. Because I've seen people use Notes, but I don't know about the USB thing.
It's not called USB 3.0. That's what I got wrong.
Okay. Gonna edit this
Yeah.
part out as well.
It's this thing. It's like that. So that half is micro USB on the left. The right hand side is the quick charging, whatever you call it.
Well, so that's the
That's-
USB that the
That's for
Note
no.
uses.
That's for no. Yeah.
That's the new one.
Yeah,
That's
no.
one. That's one port.
Yeah, that's one port.
That
It's essentially a micro USB port attached to a Samsung proprietary charging port.
that's a really really weird
But-
port.
But the new USB 3.0 hard drives use that port as well. They use that. The new USB 3.0.
Ah, right. I do because
Yeah.
one of my hard drives does use something similar to this.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm not sure if that's like USB 3.0 because I never really used 3.0.
It's if it's the same port, I don't think it'll catch on solely because the one I'm using is incredibly loose and incredibly unstable for the hard drive that I'm using. Well, guys, that includes another Panda Podcast. Hopefully, we see you guys next week.